Sales is not a solo act. It is a team sport. And today's architect behind one of the most transformational sales models in the world. If you are ready to scale, today's conversation is for you. Are you guys ready to get into it? Let's go.
Nicole Johnson, Nicole Johnson, Nicole Johnson, let's go.
Welcome to another episode of Prosperity Conversations. I am the Nicole Johnson, and today we have a guest whose brilliance, strategy, and generosity have reshaped the way entrepreneurs build wealth. My guest is none other than my personal coach, Mr. Shay Brown, a globally recognized sales expert and CEO of the CEO Sales Agency, the leader behind the revolutionary seven-figure sales team model. His methods have helped business owners collectively generate over $400 million in revenue. Come on, y'all. That's a standing ovation right there. Earning him recognition in one of the USA's Today top entrepreneurs to watch in North America. Shay, is an honor to have you here today. So you guys clap it up as I bring him to the stage. Hey, Mr. Brown.
Well, it's a great day, Nicole Johnson. It is an honor and a privilege to be here. Thanks for all that you're doing. Thanks for having this show, this Prosperity Conversations, because it allows folks like me and others to learn from the wisdom and the experience and expertise of all of your guests. So it's an honor and a privilege. I finally made it to the show. Yay! I'm here.
So glad to have you. I thank you so much for being a part of the show here. It has been a journey. I started this just a little under a month ago. And just so you know, I've been kind of emulating and duplicating what I've seen you do on your program. So I'm glad to have you here. And so what I'm going to do is start where we always start with our guests and ask you, what does prosperity mean to you?
You know, there was a time that it started as a business owner when I was struggling. And even before a business owner, as a kid, my parents, they were divorced when I was 4 years old. My mom is Dr. Cammie B. Jeffords. She's still with us today, and it's a pleasure to have her. And my father, Marshall Brown, he passed away. But as a kid, we didn't have a lot. We grew up in a place called Dale City, Virginia, by the way. And so prosperity as a kid was all about just having the cool toys like Atari or a 10-speed bicycle or a moped at once upon a time. It was all about the things. And I used to always think, man, if I could just get that stuff, I was cool. And then as I moved up to college, by the way, I went to Morgan State University. Shout out to all the HBCs out there, by the way. And then the Johns Hopkins University. It was all about if I could just get a home, if I could just get the job, I could have the house, have the stock options. That's prosperity. Like I would have made it just to be able to go out to dinner once a week. That was my goal, just to be able to go out to dinner on a Friday or Saturday and be able to pay for it. And then as I got older and my kids graduated from college, it was all about, man, can I take care of the next generation? And so if you would ask me where I'm at today, as of today, I'm 57 years old. For those folks that are watching this, prosperity doesn't look like any of the things I just talked about. Right. It's not about the house, although that's pretty cool to have one, by the way. It's not about the vacations, although it's really cool to be able to take vacations. I have to say prosperity looks like having my health in the best state possible without medication and having the mental wellness and peace of mind that I have right now. To me, that's prosperity, as simple as that is. Now, I know there's an old saying. I'm coming back over to you. I know there's an old saying that the person who is sick only has one request for prosperity, right? And that is to be healthy, right? And the person who has it all, right, who has everything going for them right now,
right,
they have no idea what they want. So prosperity to me looks like having my health, my mental well-being, and having the ones that I love around me close with very good health. That's what prosperity looks like for me these days.
I love that. I love that because I've seen so many people, especially in this day and time, as a federal employee, I'm looking at that 42-day shutdown. Okay. Across all my eyes when I hear that, when I say that. but also potentially be facing that again. Other entrepreneurs and business owners and employees afraid of what's going on in the economy. And I really just wanted to be able to have something that gave them something else to look forward to. But let's face it, the reality is sometimes we got to have that money in the bank because it keeps the bills paid, the lights on, the food in the refrigerator, and all of that. But as an entrepreneur, you have helped others. I mean, that number is just number 4 is my number. Okay, 4 is my magic number. So when it was 400 million, I was like, okay, I can get with that number too. I can get with that number too. When you work with entrepreneurs, I know that people don't always talk about the ugly side of entrepreneurship. As you became an entrepreneur, what was the turning point for you to help you say, not only do I need to build that security within as an entrepreneur, but also make you want to help others?
Sure. So here's the thing. I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. There I was, right out of Morgan State University. I was working for Citibank, and Citibank was a big time gig back then because I was a young hotshot into this management associate program. And in that program, I was able to learn a lot. And then during that program, I went back to school. I went to Johns Hopkins University. You can tell I only worked for 2 jobs my entire career. So I never wanted to be an entrepreneur, right? Ever. That was never in my personal DNA. I left there and I worked for MCI after finishing my graduate degree from Johns Hopkins University, which is the MBA. And I worked there for 9 years. And I rose from a hotshot all the way up to a director level. Like I was like that dude. And then one day, and here's the point I want to make. One day, Perry Fagan brings me into his office. I sit down with Perry Fagan. And Perry Fagan said, Shay, we've got to let some people go. No big deal. We've done this before. I've been through layoffs. I've had to deliver the message. As painful as it is, I was ready. He looked me square in the eyes. He says, we've got to let you go. And that's when all the air went out of my body because I never saw that. Now, if you're watching right now, have you ever been hit with the punch that you never saw coming? I never saw that coming. So they were laying me off, which was devastating. I'm driving home that evening. As I'm driving home, totally devastated. I said, I should start my own company. A lot of my homies had their own company. I had over a year of severance. So I sound like I thought I was a millionaire back then. Had money in my 401k, had a little savings. I'm like, yeah, we're going to do this thing. So that night, I went down to Kinko's, had some business cards made up. The next day, I hung my shingle out the door and just called myself Coach Shay. Everybody else was a coach. So I was going to be a coach. Why not? It sounded like a good idea. Doesn't sound like a good idea. Have you ever had an idea that you knew in your heart it was going to work? And you said, I'm betting on me. Well, that's what I decided to do. Here's the answer to your question. After 90 days in business, I was tired. I was frustrated. And in short, I was out of money. And hence, I learned the golden rule in business. I want you to hear me. I want you to lean in. Even if you're not in business, the golden rule is to never run out of money. Maybe you can relate to that. Never run out of money. But then it got worse. My second wife, don't judge me. That's my second wife. I am on my third wife, so I'm married, happily married. Okay. Third wife, 16 years. Come on now. Give it to your boy.
Third time's the charm.
My second wife at the time decided to leave. When the money gets funny, the change gets strange. And it was my fault. I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. I take full accountability. She left. But here's the deal. My 2 sons decided to move in with me. Now, that's not normally how the story goes. So now I've got 4 other eyeballs. I've got 2 other stomachs to feed. I have no money. I'm burning through my 401k. Don't judge me over there, Nicole. I know you would say, don't do that under any circumstances.
We don't judge. We listen and we don't judge.
I was betting on myself and I was losing. Here's the point, and I'm done. There's a knock at the door. I'm working like I am now. I run down the stairs because they said, Dad, someone's still in the car. I look out. And there's Kevin. Kevin's taken by Lexus truck. Whoa, I used to love that Lexus truck, that 360 pearl white on the outside, tan leather seats on the inside. Come on. I wasn't leaning to the scene, but it was a nice truck. But normally Kevin would knock at the door and ask, did I want to get anything out? Because he was repoing the car. I look over at my sons. I look at Kevin. I give Kevin what they call the brother nod. Kevin gives me the brother nod back. I look over at my sons and I say, don't worry. The car is just going to the garage. I lied. And it was in that moment. This is the moment that you talked about a moment ago, Nicole. It was in that moment I had the never again moment. Think about your own life. Think about your own finances. When was the time you had that never again moment? Like never again would you have to borrow money from family like I was doing, and you knew you couldn't pay them back. Never again would you find yourself down at the gym taking showers with your sons because the water was cut off. Never again would you allow one client that couldn't pay you mean that you couldn't get dinner that night. It was that serious. And so my big takeaway, it was in that moment that I learned that it was time to learn how to sell. And I ended up working with a guy by the name Eric Loftholm out in California. And he kind of walked me through how to learn how to sell. And he said these words. Now I'm over to you, Nicole, because I want people to hear this before we get to the other prosperity stuff. Because this is what changed it. This is what made the difference. And this is a mantra that is clear in 2004, 2004. What a long time ago. And it's still our mantra today. And he said, Shay, why don't you focus on sales? I ain't focused on sales. I'm a business consultant. Can't you see my card? Shay Brown, business consultant. No one's hiring me. He said, yeah, but selling equals service. Can you not serve? And as a result of serving, helping other people get what they want, and they pay you, is not a good exchange? I said, I never thought about that. So we adopted that philosophy that selling equals service, selling equals service, that selling is about education. That's our philosophy. We're going to educate you. There's a problem in the world. CEOs need to generate revenue in order to execute the vision they have. Number two, selling is about leading. Can I at least lead them to say, here's one solution that I have, whether you work with me or not, I got the solution. I might not be the right person, but I have it. And number three, in my service, selling is about moving people to action. Can you at least ask folks, would you allow me to serve you and help you? If they say yes, to say yes. If they say no, to say no. When I adopted that philosophy, that changed my business sense. I went from trying to convince and persuade. Close with this one line. Write this down, you notes if you're taking notes. Don't chase the money as an entrepreneur. Add value, and the money will chase you. Back over to you.
Ooh, y'all better clap that up. Listen, and now I see why the CEO sales agency is like the number one in the world. So I definitely understand that. And I appreciate that. And I want you guys to unpack. There was a lot of gems, right? There was a lot of information, because when you focus on the service, everything else that you want and everything else that you actually need will come to you. And so I love that concept. So Shay, you went from redeveloping your mindset, right? When I put this call out about prosperity conversations, I didn't know who would answer the call. So the alignment has been amazing, and the alignment is important. So when you went to that change and that shift, what made you start to turn around to help other entrepreneurs do the same thing?
Sure. So, my mother, Dr. Cammie B. Jeffers, she's 78 years old as of today, by the way. I'm fortunate to be a caregiver, so I'm able to take care of Mother dear. She's in a senior living facility. And one of the things she used to say when she was a bishop, back in the church, we only had 35 members in the Pentecostal church, 25 kids. I was one of the kids. I did say those numbers right. That just meant I got into a lot of trouble, right? But she used to always say that whatever the minister is preaching on, in many cases, not always, they're typically going through it. Right. So they're sharing something maybe they're going through, and as a result of them going through it, they're sharing it with you so you could get the distinction. And the distinction is an understanding beyond common knowledge. That's what a distinction is. So they're giving you distinctions that are going through their life. So as I was learning how to sell, how to generate leads, how to ask for the order without feeling guilty, how to build trust and rapport, how to ask powerful questions and bring benefits to life. The fundamentals of selling, I started saying, I wonder if someone's like me. They got a heart to give. Yes, I'm bragging on myself. Come on now. They got a heart to give.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Come on, I'm going to brag on myself for a moment. I don't know who is. And what if I would teach what I'm already learning? And if you think about it, for those with a few letters behind your name and all y'all bright folks, of course, I went to DC public schools. Okay, so that's not me. But you also hear this thing that first you learn something, and then as you learn something, you go do something. So you learn, do, and then teach. And then once you teach, there's another level. So as I was teaching others how to do it, they started implementing the same thing I was learning. So I wasn't teaching them anything new. I was just saying, hey, this is what I learned. Would you like to do it? We found ourselves a niche. there was a huge gap in the market. Entrepreneurs had the right skill set. They had the right mindset. There was a missing piece, and that missing piece was sales, because they needed revenue in their business so they could serve those they were able to serve. And so that's when I started teaching. Now, here's what's different when I started teaching and sharing, this philosophy of sales. We developed our own style, just like in music. You first learn to play the piano, or you remember back in the day, I played the French horn when I was in school, but you learn how to play. And then after a while, you start finding your own tunes. Well, we developed something called the evergreen revenue model. And the evergreen revenue model is, how do you do something one time and your labor's no longer involved? And so that laid the foundation for teaching that to other folks. And I started sharing this with them, and then I'll come back over to you. I started sharing this one concept. And so I can frame the conversation for you. The concept is, it's on you. Like, it's on me to make sure things happen. Just like it's on you. It doesn't matter what's going on in the government. So here's what took place. I was at Godwin Middle School. I'm in the 7th grade, and I was a wrestler. Now, I know y'all think Shea Brown's a big, cool guy as a wrestler. I was in the 77-pound weight class. Come on, somebody, okay? and when we would wrestle in the 7th grade, I wasn't good at all. And I would always get...
Shay, I think you muted yourself, sir.
There we go. I muted myself. So
you got so excited.
I would get so excited because I would get pinned. And one of the things that the coach used to always say before the matches, he would say, look at me, look at me, look at me. I want you to say this. It's on me. It's on me. It's on me. It's on me. When you're out there, it's just you and the opponent, and it's on me to do my best. It's on me to give the effort. It's on me to make sure I'm following all the training I have. It's on me. If you're out there listening right now, even if you're an adult, which hopefully many of you are, you're listening right now, I want you to tell yourself, it's on me to find prosperity. It's on me to be a successful business owner. It's on me to spend less than I make. Although you may already know that, it's on me to have diet, exercise, so I put my body in the best position. It's not about who's the president of the United States of America. It's not about what's going on in the government. It's not what's happening in politics, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, or you believe you should wear a mask or believe you shouldn't wear a mask. It doesn't really matter any of that. I want you to say, it's on me to take responsibility for my life. And Nicole, once I adopted that philosophy, now, I didn't know in the 7th grade that I would be here sharing something that I thought was kind of corny back then. But boy, did it lay the foundation to remind folks, it's on me. And as an entrepreneur, as the CEO, if you're watching right now and you're going to that next level of success, you're pushing that business to a next level because things are going well. And then as things go well, there's another level. Congratulations. Tell yourself, it's on me. And if your bank account right now doesn't reflect how good you are, it's not about the website. It's not about the Facebook or Instagram algorithms. Say, it's on me to go find people who have a problem and solve it. You do that as a mindset, as a philosophy, as a daily action. And my promise to you is you will see your business grow. Focus on serving others first. Back over to you.
I love it. If you guys can't tell, he's a natural interviewer. He's always interviewing, even as he's talking, and I absolutely love it. And that is one of the things that, as I'm preparing for the Wealthy Women Lifestyle Retreat. So if you guys didn't know, coming up in January 2026, local in Dallas, we are having, I am hosting my annual, it's my 3rd annual, actually. The first one was a test run. And they said we want more. So officially it's the 2nd annual Vision and Empowerment Retreat. And what I love is that I always talk to the ladies about it being on them. Your responsibility before you leave home is to leave all your problems there, leave all the drama there, leave all the frustrations there, leave all the people there. When you come to this retreat, you bring nothing but you and your well-being. Once you get here, you can best believe I am going to make sure that you have the absolute most awesome time. And when you leave, you're going to be well equipped to deal with whatever is waiting for you, and also be very selective. So it is on you. So Shay, one of the things that I love, and there are many of them that I love about you as a coach, you are not only building businesses, you are in helping others build business. You're shaping the culture of entrepreneurship. So please just share with the audience your business of the Happy Entrepreneur Show and the Making of an Entrepreneur docu-series. Tell us about that and share with us why you do it and how it's helping entrepreneurs.
Sure. There's a huge challenge for where we are in the world today. I believe we're post-COVID. We're in another phase of learning, another phase of development, another phase of media, another phase of how to communicate. And the biggest challenge that a number of my clients have who are very, very successful was, how do folks get a window into the soul of who I am as a person? How do they hear a little more about not my story, not my expertise, not my experience, but how do they get my perspective on life based on what I learned? And many of them have written a book. Okay, some of them have been in anthology, some have not. But here's the point that I like to make. Where we are in the world today, not for everybody, but for many people, myself included, we'd rather watch the movie than read the book. And we're also at a place where we want to understand the backstory. And oftentimes before someone is looking to be a speaker on a stage and get paid, gone are the days of just sending a PDF or sending a highlight reel that says, here's some one-liners of me on stage. Look at me, look at me. Right. No, in the age of automation, in the age of AI or artificial intelligence, folks want to know the person. And you know what? Many people didn't have that. I mean, they could sit at home and cut on a camera and talk to somebody and try to create something. But what if we could honor entrepreneurs? What if we could honor entrepreneurs for the body of work they have impacting humanity? And so the Making of an Entrepreneur docuseries was created for 3 reasons. The first reason was to create a legacy that the person could leave behind long after they're gone. And for many folks, that's important. That story will go on. Number 2, for those folks that want to infuse it inside of their business, they now, for the sales department, they now had a brand story that could be used to go ahead of them. So people felt like they knew who they were, their values, their beliefs, their ups and their downs prior to meeting them. And you think about it being on a Netflix type of show where you are the center stage and you have an opportunity to speak from the heart and be yourself. And that's the second reason. Then the third reason, it's a little selfish reason, is that we want to impact humanity. There was a book many years ago called Think and Grow Rich. And for those that are young and never heard of it, you can go Google it. This guy went around the world and talked to some of the most successful people and told their story in the book. But that's the old way. I'm part of the LL Cool J generation. That means we got remixes on everything. And it's time to upgrade. And so we have not the modern day Think and Grow Rich. We have the Shay Brown Making of the Entrepreneur produced docuseries that will live on and impact folks who I will never meet. And it's one of not only our missions, but it's one of the legacies we'll leave behind for future generations. So they can find that. They can go over the Making of an Entrepreneur, like the Making of an Entrepreneur docs.com. Go there. If it's something that speaks to you or someone you know, go ahead and put an application in. See if it's a good fit. See if you're qualified. If great, we'd love to share your story and your message.
I love it. The Making of an Entrepreneur docuseries is on my to-do list in 2026. So I'm excited about that. And I love the energy that you have. I love how the mission has, again, been in alignment with what it is we're trying to do here at Prosperity Conversations. So I usually start closing with this. There's somebody listening, watching, wondering, what do I do next? But I feel stuck and overwhelmed. They come across you. What do you tell them to just go to the next step to help them get to that next step?
So there I was running the Marine Corps Marathon, my very first marathon, by the way, in Washington, D.C. And for those that have never run a marathon, it's 26.2 miles. If you're in Washington, D.C. at a major marathon, there's 30,000 people in the streets cheering for you as you're going down there. It's just incredible. And I was only running the marathon because, well, I was a young whippersnapper back then. Okay. I thought I could do any freaking thing. And I'd heard that Oprah Winfrey had run the marathon. So I said to myself, if Oprah Winfrey can run the marathon, your boy, Shay Brown, that's my your boy, could certainly run the Marine Corps Marathon. So I got out there and I'm running and I'm excited. I'm high-fiving people. Yes, I'm cheering. And then all of a sudden, bam, I hit mile 17. Now, for those people that don't know what mile 17 is, mile 17 is when you hit the wall. And you hit the wall in a marathon, that means you can't go any further. Your body's only really designed to go about 17 miles. And this is a true story. And when you hit that thing, you kind of stop. And I stopped because I hadn't trained. I stopped because I wasn't prepared. I stopped because I didn't have a system. Put this down in your notes. Systems beat goals every single time. Put that down in your notes. Systems beat goals every single time. And so I didn't have a system. So I sat on the sideline. Now, how many have ever hit the wall in your own life? In your own finances, credit card debt, in your own relationships not going the way you wanted, at a job you go to every single morning, all you can talk about is how you can't wait to get out of that job. Whatever your wall is, if you ever hit a wall and you looked at other people, because I was sitting down looking, and they would go by. And I'll say, now I know that person ain't still running. And then someone else would go by. And I say, I know I'm in better shape than them. And so I got back into the race. And here's the point I want to make. To get in the race, you got to put one foot in front of the other. You don't go as fast as you want. Okay, one foot in front of the other, and I finished it, right? I finished the race. Yes, it was like 5 hours and 54 minutes. Yeah, give me a hand. That's pretty good, by the way. I mean, and most folks never, ever finish a marathon in their life.
I've never run one.
But how many of you done something, and when you finish, no matter who was cheering around you, you knew you had the potential inside of you to perform at a higher level. If that's you, just say, yeah, that's me, Shay. And I knew I could do better. I knew I had the potential. And this is the point I want to answer to your question. The second time I decided to go do a marathon again. This time I signed up for a training program. This time they had coaches. This time they taught me about nutrition. This time they had a system for me to plug into, because systems beat goals every single time. And so when I got there, they said, who had a problem has run before? Me. I said, mile 17. They said, when we get to mile 17, I want you all to listen very carefully. When we get to mile 17, Shay Brown is going to all chant, I'm trained, I'm strong, and I'm ready. Now, those folks out there that were saying I'm trained, I'm strong, I'm ready, they ain't look like Shay Brown. In case y'all didn't tell, I'm an African-American brother, okay? If they didn't look like me, and we in Washington, D.C., and I'll be darned if I'm running down my streets where I'm born and talk about I'm trained, I'm strong, I'm ready. They said, no, that's what we're going to do, because you're going to be trained, you're going to be strong, you're going to be ready. So we get to the marathon. After all the training, we ran over 20 miles, and I did that. We hit mile 17. I want you to listen now. They started chanting. I didn't. Have you ever needed someone to believe in you before you could believe in yourself? Yeah. I'm holding the belief for every one of you out there that you're going to be wealthy. You're going to have prosperity, and whatever prosperity looks for you, I'm believing for you. They believe in me and say, Shay, I'm trained, I'm strong, I'm ready. Now, I'm trying to ignore these jokers. I got my headset on. I could see they were yelling. And then I'm trained, I'm strong, I'm ready. And so after a while, because I was surrounded by folks, that's lesson number 2. First, you got to believe what's possible. But number 2, you got to surround yourself with folks who can support you along the journey. I started saying, I'm trained, I'm strong, I'm ready, I'm trained, I'm strong, I'm ready. And I finished it. I didn't beat Oprah's time. Oprah's time is 4 hours and 30 minutes. Mine was 4 hours and 32 minutes. Come on, somebody. But I finished that race. And my message to you today, and I would tell anyone, is first, you got to be trained. You got to be strong. You got to be ready. In order to do that, you got to have the first mindset to be able to do what you believe you can do. Then I just need you to do one word, just one word. Because I believe there's just one word that you will be successful. I think there's one word in the whole freaking dictionary, if I could leave you one word, that guarantees success. One word. Now, you might have your own word, but here's mine. Persist. When you tell yourself, I will persist until I succeed, I will persist. As long as you keep going, as long as you get the next day, as long as you get one foot in front of the other, and there's breath in your body, you know what you can do? You can persist till you achieve your goal. You do that, I promise to you, well, you'll live the life you've always desired. You'll impact other folks, and you'll leave this place with all the prosperity that you want and you believe is yours. Thanks a lot, Nicole. It's been an honor and a privilege to be here. Keep doing what you're doing, by the way. Keep having this show. Keep changing lives. Keep showing up. You know, sometimes you show up and it's like, no one's listening. I have a show. Sometimes I show up and the only person listening, well, there's 2 people. There's normally Mother Dear, because Mother Dear loves me. And guess who else loves me? My mother-in-law, right? No one else. Sometimes I used to believe even heard anything. But you show up anyway. So I want to give you your flowers. I want to say thank you so much for being here. And thank you to the listener. Thank you for tuning in. I may not be back next time, but you show up, you be here. And my promise is you'll do all the things you want to do. Shay Brown, peace.
Listen, you guys, and that is a lovely way to wrap this up. Remember, prosperity is not something you chase. it is something that you choose. This has been another episode of Prosperity Conversations. I am your host, the Nicole Johnson. Till next time.
All